Welcome to part 5 of this series of analysis, Jehovah Elohim, God or Satan. In part 4, we examine the omniscience of God. Omniscience is all-knowing, all-seeing, all-hearing. If you are omniscient, you know the past, you know the present, and you know the future. You know the end from the beginning. You are all-knowing. Everywhere they call you, you are there to respond. And every part of this earth that anyone mention your name, you are there to respond. This is what we call the omniscient. So we went into the Bible to examine the behavior of Jehovah Elohim, the Christian God, to see whether he is omniscient or not. And in Genesis chapter 3, dealing with Adam and Eve, this Jehovah Elohim seems not to know what was going on. Something have to happen before he comes and take reactionary measures. And measures that he takes are also questionable. In Genesis chapter 6, we saw him repenting of his actions. Showing remorse, regret, and repentance is a sign that you are not all-knowing. In Genesis chapter 18, we saw Jehovah Elohim trekking to Sodom and Gomorrah to investigate an evil report. Trekking into a city to investigate an evil report is a sign that you are not omniscient. An omniscient being will not go into any city to investigate to find out whether the evil report that he has heard about that city is true or false. Because you are omniscient, you know everything wherever you are, and you don't have to do things like the way we humans will do. So these are all signs that Jehovah Elohim is not omniscient. We also saw in Exodus chapter 32 that this Jehovah Elohim kept Moses for too long, and the people thought Moses was dead. They agitated and forced Aaron to look for another God to replace him. And this Jehovah Elohim seems not to know what was going on until he was replaced with another God before he got angry and took measures to wipe out all the people. But Moses have to intervene with his negotiation skills before he was able to tame this God from destroying the entire Israelite. So we saw that this God doesn't seem to know what was going on, and every sign showed that he is not omniscient. Even if he's omniscient at all, his level of omniscience is so low. And this is a sign that this God cannot be said to be God the Creator if he exhibits such a low level of omniscience and also negative emotions. In today's part 5, we are looking at another quality of God. So today we are looking at whether this God is a God of love or not. Is he a God of mercy, compassion, and forgiveness? So we'll go into the Bible to examine this God, Jehovah Elohim, from his own book to find out whether there is any love, whether there is any mercy, whether there is any compassion or forgiveness in this God. Let us start. Is Jehovah Elohim God of mercy? Is he God of forgiveness, mercy, and compassion? This is what we are looking at today. If somebody offends us, we humans, I and you alike, if we are offended for the first time by our friends, we are able to forgive them, especially if the offense does not harm us. If the offense doesn't cause much pain to us, and it is first time, then we find it easy to forgive, even we humans. This Jehovah Elohim, God of the Bible, called us sinners. He called us evil people. He called us people of iniquities and unrighteousness, so we are full of evil according to this God. But we human beings who are full of evil according to this God, we humans, me here and you listening to me, we know very well among ourselves and our friends that we are able to forgive our friends when they offend us, especially when they offend us for the first time, and when the offense is not so grievous. If the offense doesn't cause us so much pain, if the offense doesn't cause us permanent pain, then we are able to forgive. And even there are a lot of us who are even able to forgive grievous sins when the sin have even caused a lot of pain to us. Still, we as humans are able to forgive. And at times we are even able to forgive many times. Somebody will offend us first time, we only warn the person. He will offend us again, we warn the person. At times we act only after the person has offended us a third time or fourth time. But for the first offense, we humans find it easy to forgive. And even where we do not forgive, where we find it difficult to forgive, and we decide to go on revenge, or we decide to punish the offender, we only punish the offender. We do not punish the children of the offender, let alone the children's children. It hardly happens that you will offend somebody and the person will punish you and punish your children, let alone punishing your children's children and generation ad infinitum. It's never happened among we human beings. So we humans, you offend me, I punish you for offending me, and that's it. All government, all laws, all justice systems punishes only the offender. So if somebody even commits grievous sin, murder people, kill people, destroy people, when the person is arrested, only he is punished. His children, if his children were not collaborators, if his children were not part of the offense of the father, we humans do not punish the children. We don't. And we are evil people. We are people of iniquities. We are unrighteous, unholy, according to this God. When we look at the Bible story in Genesis chapter 3, God told Adam and Eve that if they eat the fruit, they will die. That's all. And they disobeyed God and ate the fruit. But when they ate the fruit, they didn't die. They died after 900 years. So what was the offense? The offense was disobedience to God. That's all. And this offense never caused any harm or any pain to this God. Never caused any harm. Adam and Eve never inflicted any pain on this God. They ate fruit, that's all. And the fruit made them wise. The fruit didn't kill them. Let's even assume if the fruit caused harm to Adam and Eve and caused their deaths. Why should God find it difficult to forgive, looking at it that it was their first sin? And we evil men find it easy to forgive people their first sin. And this sin was just disobedience. That's all, disobedience. They disobeyed you, nothing else. They didn't cause you any harm. They didn't cause you any pain. And this God found it difficult to forgive. And he didn't only find it difficult to forgive, but he punished the offender. And did not only punish the offender, but punished the children of the offender. And did not only punish the children of the offender, but punished the children's children and children's children up to this current generation and forever. Which means he punished Adam and Eve and all his generation unending. Can we say this is God of mercy and compassion and forgiveness? The person offended you. The offense didn't cause you any harm. And even if you cannot forgive, you will punish the person. But here, this God went beyond punishing the person by punishing his children, his innocent children, children yet unborn, and generations upon generation were all cursed by this God for an offense that never caused him any harm. I think I'm better than this God when it comes to love, mercy, and forgiveness. I'm better than this God, and this God cannot be my role model. If you tell your children not to do something harmful, and they disobeyed you and did it, and the thing harms them, the worst you will do is to tell them you deserve it. That's all. And if the thing caused them an injury, you as a loving parent will take them to hospital. Even though they disobeyed you and went and did the thing and the thing caused an injury to them, you will not leave them to suffer the injuries. You will send them to the doctor for treatment. Then you warn them again. That's the worst you will do. And if you are even an evil parent, then you may decide not to send them to hospital, but leave them to suffer and die. That's the worst an evil man will do. But you will not curse that you will not harm the children's children, the children who will grow up and give birth to children. Because your children have disobeyed you, you are cursing the children and their grandchildren. How can you do that? Is there any man that do this kind of evil because his children has disobeyed him? He decided to punish his children and his children's children and generations yet unborn. Is there any evil man on earth like that? And this God did not only curse Adam and Eve, but curse the earth as well. So, first offense, you curse the offender. You curse the children of the offender, you curse the children's children, and you curse the earth as well. So you can see that this God is full of curses and evil. And he acts in a way that we humans, we who are called unholy and called sinners, even look at it and we say, what? No sinner does this kind of thing. There's no anybody cursing like this God on this earth. Cursing the offender and the offender's children whom you don't even know, who are not even born yet, cursing the whole earth so that all the generation of that man and his children will suffer forever and ever for just an offense of disobeying you, an offense that caused you no harm, no pain. Can we call this Jehovah God a God of mercy, compassion, love, and forgiveness? Absolutely not, unless you don't understand those terms. Why was God so angry and cursing Adam and Eve for acquiring knowledge? The only offense here is that they ate the fruit and acquired knowledge. After eating the fruit, they knew they were naked and they clothed themselves. And last I said that all the other animals that did not eat the fruit are still walking naked without knowing. So the fruit gave them knowledge. So why was God so angry with them that they've acquired knowledge? And this same God knows very well that lack of knowledge my people perish, as stated in Hosea. So why is he so angry that the people have acquired knowledge? And they've now separated themselves from other animals by sewing fig leaves to clothe themselves. And look at what he said in Genesis chapter 3, verse 22. He said that Adam and Eve has become like him. They've become like him. So he was very angry that they've become like him. A father angry with his children, cursing his children because the children have done something that will make them become like him. He says, I'm evil man. I'm unrighteous. I'm unholy. But I want my children to become better than me. Whether in terms of knowledge, whether in terms of finances, whether in terms of wisdom or whatever, I want my children to be better than me. Me, an evil man here. Me, unrighteous man here. An unholy man like me. I want my children to become better than me. And here is this God cursing his children for becoming like him. Read Genesis chapter 3, verse 22. He was angry that his children, Adam and Eve, have become like him. And look at the message he took. He said that now that they have gained knowledge, if he doesn't sack them, if he doesn't banish them from the Garden of Eden, they are going to eat the tree of life also. And if they eat the tree of life, they will live forever. So he is going to prevent that. He didn't want his children to live forever. He wants them to live few years and die. He doesn't want them to live forever. And now that they have taken measures, now that they have listened to the snake and they have gained knowledge, then they will go and eat that tree of life, and that will make them live forever and be like the Father. And he doesn't want them to be like him. He doesn't want them to live forever. So he's going to sack them from the Garden of Eden and also bring security to come and guide their tree of life so that they don't get access to it. Because if they get access to this tree of life, they are going to live forever. And he wants them to die. And as I said earlier in part 2, it was not the eating of the fruit of knowledge that brought death. No, they were to die. So they wanted to eat the fruit so that they will live. So they ate the first fruit. Then the second fruit, if they ate the second fruit, which is the tree of life, they are going to live forever and be like their father. So he prevented them from eating the second fruit, which would have made them live forever. And that's why many people mistakenly think that it is the eating of the tree of knowledge that brought death. No. They were mortal beings who were going to die, but they were making an effort, the snake helping them to eat that tree of life. If they had eaten that tree, they have lived forever. But he prevented them from eating that tree. Why was he so angry with his children trying to be like him? Can this be said to be love? Never. David, the king of Israel, numbered his soldiers. He sent his general Joab to carry out census of the Israeli army. When the census was done, Jehovah Elohim, God of Israel, sent his prophet to David, the king, very angry. So, the end of the story is that this God started killing the people of Israel. He was offended that David has carried out census of his soldiers. So somebody will ask, why was he angry that David and his generals have carried out census? The interpretation is that he was angry because by counting the soldiers or by numbering the soldiers, he did not show trust to God of Israel. Meaning, you don't trust me, that's why you are numbering your soldiers. You don't trust me, you see the reaction. You don't trust me, you are numbering your soldiers to put your trust in numbers, not me. Instead of trusting me, Jehovah, you are putting your trust in the number of army you have. So he was offended. But who took decision to number the soldiers? David, and David alone. Only the king alone took that decision. And even his general Joab told him that this is not a good decision, but he said, you go ahead and do it. So it was a decision made by the king, King David alone. So if this decision made by the king offended you, Jehovah Elohim, and you cannot forgive the king, what do? You punish him and him alone. Because he alone took that decision, so he alone has offended you. So if you are going to punish anybody, then you have to punish only the offender. But here, in 1 Chronicles chapter 21, if you read the whole chapter, you will see that this God went on to punish the entire nation. And he sent death angels to go and smite plague, diseases, and sickness and kill the people. He sent angels to slay the people to death. And how many did he kill? According to the Bible, he destroyed 70,000 men. And in the Bible's language, if they tell you that 70,000 men died, then you should multiply that by 3 or 4. Why? Because they don't count women and children. So this one were only the men that died, but women and children are not counted. So if he smite the nation with diseases and plague and spread disease and kill 70,000 men, then the question is, if there's a plague, if there's a disaster, and men are numbering 70,000, how many women? If the women are also 70,000, and the children are also 70,000, then we are talking about over 200,000 here. So this God was able to destroy hundreds of thousands of people for the offense of one person, the king. For the offense of the king, he decided to destroy hundreds of thousands of innocent people, innocent men, women, and children suffer death as a result of the sins of only one person. And what sin was that? A sin of not trusting Jehovah Elohim. So for David not trusting Jehovah Elohim, for David showing a sign of lack of trust for this God decided to kill thousands and thousands of innocent men, women, and children. Innocent men, women, and children who don't even know the king were destroyed by this God because the king has offended him by not trusting him. Can you imagine that? A God killing hundreds of thousands of people just because one person failed to trust him. Just offense of not trusting him. The only offense is that he did not trust him. David did not trust him, not the whole nation, just one person. And the wonderful thing is that he did not even punish David. He did not kill the offender. He did not kill the children of the offender, but decided to kill innocent people. What kind of God is this? What kind of justice is this? And listen to what David himself said. David was the offender here. And this God is going on a killing spree, destruction all over. And the offender said, let's read First Chronicles rather. Let's read First Chronicles chapter 21. Let's read verse 17. And David said unto God, Is it not I that commanded the people to be numbered? Even I it is that have sinned and done evil indeed. But as for these sheep, what have they done? Let thy hand, I pray thee, O Lord my God, be on me and on my father's house, but not on thy people, that they should be plagued. This is what even the offender was pleading with this God, that I am the only one who offended you. I took this decision. I offended you. So if you have anybody to punish me and my house, punish me, destroy me and my father's house, because I have offended you. So if you can't do anything at all, punish me and my father's house, but leave the people alone. This is what the offender is saying. Punish me and leave the innocent people. And this God was going on killing rampage, destroying innocent people, and the offender was pleading that I have offended you. Leave these people and punish me alone. This is the loving God the pastors are preaching. This is the loving God that the pastors are preaching. Where is love here? Where is mercy here? Where is compassion here? Destroying innocent people in collective punishment. Where is love here? Is there any love in this God? Is there any love in this God? Is there any evil man like this? This God of Israel, Jehovah Elohim, throughout the Bible, is full of negative emotions, uncontrollable anger, full of curses. Can this God be our role model? In Genesis chapter 3, we saw how this God cursed the entire generation of Adam, cursing the earth as well for offense of disobedience. When we look at Exodus chapter 32, this God was furious when the Israelites replaced him with another God. Had it not been Moses, this God would have destroyed all the Israelites. No person would have been left. He would have killed all the Israelites without leaving even one person. This is the level of emotions of this God. And it's full of vengeance. If we look at 1 Samuel chapter 15, he commanded King Saul to go on vengeance against Amalek. And if you read the story, you see that genocide was committed against Amalek. Complete genocide because of vengeance. And this God is also proving himself to be a jealous God. As he himself stated in Exodus chapter 20, verse 5. He said, I am a jealous God. So a God full of emotions of jealousy, anger, curses, unforgiveness, and vengeance. Is he the father of all creation? Is he the one who created all the people that he is destroying? It looks like all we know about this God's powers is to exercise his powers in destructive way rather than constructive way. All the powers exhibited by this God is a destructive power, destroying people in anger and all the negative emotion that you can ever think of. And you as a human, if you decide to make this God your role model, that will be dangerous for humanity. So can we say that this God full of negative emotions and curses is the father of all creation? Absolutely not. I cannot say that. In conclusion, we see that this God introduced to us by Abraham, God of Isaac, God of Israel, this God of Christians, God of the Bible, is full of curses and negative emotion of all sorts. This God is vengeful and punishes generations of the offenders. This God carries out collective punishment for the slightest offense. The little you do, he starts destroying thousands of people. The slightest offense, and he starts committing genocide. And at times, this God commits genocide not because the people has offended him, but just to steal their properties. But we are yet to come to that. But this God engaged in war for just the spoil. So a God of this nature, a God with this kind of behavior and character, who does not show mercy, compassion, nor forgives, how can we say that this is God, who is the father of all creation? A father of all creation will not send one group of people to go and destroy another group, because he created all of them and they are all his children. But this God have not shown to be the father of all creation. The father of all creation will not go on killing rampage, destroying thousands of people for the offense of one person. This is not the characteristics of God that we know. So we are telling Abraham that the God that he is introducing, Jehovah Elohim, have failed all the tests. And we cannot say that he is the father of all creation. But as I said in earlier parts of this discussion, and I'm saying again in this part, we are not looking at one factor. So this is part 5. I will come with part 6. And in part 6, we are going to look at another factor. All demons have demons, lower demons working under them. All the lesser gods have other spirits working under them. Jehovah Elohim also have other spirits working under him. So in part 6, we'll be looking at what kind of spirit works under this God. What other lower spirit surrounds this God. Subscribe to this channel so that you'll receive notification when part 6 is released. Until then, stay blessed.